Welcome or welcome back to my channel. Please like, share and comment. Please subscribe. Thank you to all those who have been supporting. Thank you to all those who leave comments, likes and share my videos. Thank you so much. If you're new here, please subscribe. It helps the channel a lot. Leave a comment. Just tell us which country you're listening from. Thank you for the support. Thank you for the love. It is all appreciated. Now enjoy the story.
Hey, my God is good. Once upon a time, there lived a kingdom called the Boma Kingdom. The Boma people were going through lots of wars and hardship, sickness and poverty. King was fighting against many kingdoms that wanted to take over the kingdom because of the resources they had. The Boma Kingdom was always under attack. Now, during this time, young boys were recruited to join the royal guards, to join the royal army and protect the kingdom. There was a boy named Osondu. Osondu wanted to join the army, but his mother stopped him. The war had started even before she was born. All the men in her family had died, and she didn't want her son to die as well. He was the only child that she had. So she made him promise that he would not join the army, and Osondu agreed. But eventually the war became worse. Sickness in the land spread so far and wide. And eventually his mother died because of this war. Now, out of vengeance, Osondu joined the army. He was ready to fight against all the kingdoms that had brought this terror on their land. Osondu never practiced with the army when he was young. They did not know how strong he would be. But Osondu, even being skinny, was able to stand off the enemies. He fought and fought and fought so well. He killed many. And each time they won, they would put Osondu in front. Gradually, Osondu was known as the greatest warrior in his kingdom, because anytime they go for war, he would kill as many as, and they would win. Eventually, Osondu began to spread. His muscles were coming out. He was tall like the gods, shaped like the gods. He was strong and powerful. And he was also very, very handsome. His good looks got him to enter the enemy territories without them suspecting him. He will win their charm, and then at night he will let his men come in and they will slaughter everyone in sight. Eventually, people began to fear the Boma Kingdom. It is as if they moved like vengeance, like death. As long as you are the enemy, they will kill you on sight. And gradually, the Boma Kingdom became as powerful, as rich, not only because of the army, but because of the wise king they had. His name was Ebubedike. He was very, very wise and was able to use the resources the gods had given his people to make them flourish. And what was once a dead kingdom became a kingdom of life. Everyone feared and respected the Boma Kingdom. Everyone feared and respected Osondu. He was known as the greatest warrior of the land. Every war he won, the king would bless him with lands, gold, riches, to thank him for all he had done. Now, one would think that Osondu will be arrogant because of all this praise. But surprisingly, because of his mother's training, he was very humble. These things did not move Osondu. What Osondu missed the most was his mother. His mother's smile and kind spirit. It was now only him and his father. And Osondu's dream was to marry a woman like his mother, to bring back life in his family. because ever since his mother died, both he and his father had been sad. All the money, all the land did not bring them that happiness anymore. Eventually, Osondu met a girl named Chekube. Chekube was beautiful, humble, decent, and most importantly, she loved Osondu. All the women in the land wanted him. They did everything to get him, but Chekube was so happy that he chose her. He was the greatest warrior in the land, one of the richest men in the land, one of the few men that had the king's favor. What more could a woman want? And to top it all, Osondu was a very kind person. Chekube was so happy. When Osondu asked for her hand, she immediately said yes. And everybody witnessed the ceremony, and they lived as man and wife. However, their marriage did not last for 3 months. The third month, one day when Osondu came back home, Chekube had collapsed and died. Everyone was surprised. The girl was so healthy, beautiful, tall. She was well spoken, kind. She moved around, did everything. She went to the market, to the stream. How could this happen? She never showed any signs of sickness, any signs of weakness. Although her death was mysterious, no one knew what happened. So eventually she was buried. Naturally, Osondu was sad. He did love Chekube, and for a moment he believed that the happiness that the woman brought into his life was back. But now it was gone. Osondu was so sad. Now, after Chekube's death, it was Maazi Okoro, Osondu's father, that now took a new wife. It had been years since Osondu's mother had died. And he, Maazi Okoro, was lonely. He wanted a woman. He met a girl named Ego. The problem was Ego already had a son. His name was Nonso. But Maazi Okoro, being an old man, did not care. He was a widower. He only had one son, Osondu. If he married Ego, he will adopt Nonso as his own, giving him more children. Now, this arrangement made Maazi Okoro and Ego happy, because Ego, although was young, had her son Nonso at a very young age, under questionable circumstances. Because of that, she had not married. No one wanted to marry her. But marrying a widower was good, because he didn't care. He already had a child. And what was good was that Maazi Okoro was the father of Osondu, the greatest warrior in the land. What that means is that the greatest warrior in the land is now her stepson. Ego liked this. The wedding ceremony took place and everyone was happy. Osondu accepted Nonso as his brother. They were close of age, 4 years apart. But still, Osondu spent time with Nonso. Nonso loved Osondu. As men, they have talked about how strong Osondu was, the greatest warrior in the land. Osondu was beautiful, shaped like the gods. Nonso really loved his brother. He did everything he wanted. He cooked for him, fetched water for him, followed him everywhere he could, even wanted to sleep in the same room with him. Nonso loved his brother so much. Now, seeing that his father had picked up courage and married Ego, Osondu himself picked up courage to marry again. This time, he married a girl named Ebere. Ebere said yes, and the marriage ceremony took place. Everyone was happy. Ebere was from a good background. As it was with Chekube, Ebere died on the 3rd month. Now everybody began to gossip. What is wrong with this man? What if his power comes from sacrificing women, young innocent women? Everybody in the village began to gossip. Osondo was so sad. How could this happen to him? Now his second wife had died. While everyone gossiped wherever he went to, his stepmother, Ego, and his brother Nonso always encouraged him. Do not listen to what people say. You will find a good girl, marry, and be happy. Even if you don't want to marry again, it's okay. Your brother and I will keep you happy. We will be with you. Osondo was always happy to hear that his family supported him. They didn't suspect him, but others in the kingdom suspected him. They thought that he used the girls for sacrifice. Now one day, while Osondo was in the forest hunting, he came across a girl that was laying down. She looked dead. She was bleeding. He was surprised to see her there. How is she here alone? She looked like someone from a rich home. As he was about to lift her, another girl came out. Help me, help me. I've been looking for help everywhere. Then Osondo asked her what happened. What happened to this girl? The woman explained that the girl was a princess, Ebubedike's daughter. A snake had attacked them, and the girl had fainted. Immediately, Osondo went into action, sucking out the poison from the girl's body. He took her immediately to the nearest herbalist, and there the girl was saved. Her name was Princess Adora. When she woke up, her maid explained to her all that had happened, and Adora was so grateful to Osondo and thanked him. Immediately she set her eyes on him, she fell in love with him. Osondo, after all, was as beautiful as the gods. He was very kind and very humble. And immediately Adora liked him. Now, after that incident, Adora made time to see Osondo as much as she could. At first, Osondo tried to avoid her because he himself liked her. But Adora wanted to see him every day. She would go to the forest to search for him. She would go to his home to search for him. Now, people noticed this and told her father. Her father, Ebubedike, called his daughter Adora. He told her that although he liked Osondo and wanted Osondo as a son-in-law, he was not afraid of Osondo. The man had lost 2 wives under mysterious circumstances. No one knew what killed Chekube and the second wife. Nobody knew what happened. All they knew was the next day when everybody woke up, the both women couldn't wake up. Something was wrong. But this did not discourage Adora. She loved Osondo and she wanted to be with him. Osondo, on the other hand, did not want to be with Adora. Not because he did not love her, but because he was afraid that she would die. So he too echoed what everybody had told her. Stay away from me, he said. I don't want anything to harm you. I am content just seeing your face. What if I marry you and something happens? But Adora did not care. However, anytime she came to see Osondo in his house, his stepmother Ego and his brother Nonso would chase her away, telling her that Osondo was not here. Meanwhile, Osondo was in the house sleeping. Despite all these discouragements, Adora persevered. Her love for Osondo was very strong. Now, the princess, seeing all this discouragement, did not know what to do. So she told her chief maid. Her chief maid was an old wise woman, respected in the kingdom. She had served many royal families. Adora told her what she wanted. She told the woman to go to the chief priest. Let the chief priest tell her what the gods think about her union. with Osondu. If the gods did not agree with this union, then she would stop. The discouragement was too much from everyone. The chief maid encouraged her not to give up. She believed that Osondu was innocent. There were other people who believed so. But the problem was they did not have concrete evidence to prove it. They all knew Osondu. They knew his mother. He was from a good home. This misfortune was not of his own doing, they believed. The chief maid then did as the princess said. She went to a chief priest, one that stays in the forest. Now, when she got to the chief priest's hut, she called for him but did not see him. She went round calling his name, but it seemed as if he was not in his hut. As she turned to leave, she began to hear noises from the back of the hut. She went towards the back, and there, from the window, she could hear noises that usually came from a man and a woman. But when she got closer and peeped through the window, all she could see was two men. Immediately she shouted, "What are you doing there?" And both men ran out. And when she looked closely, she saw that one of the men was the chief priest's apprentice. The chief maid was shocked. She had never seen anything like this before in her life. She only thought that it was a man and a woman that had such sexual relationships. She couldn't process what she had witnessed. She looked at both men, not recognizing the second one, but she knew that the other one was the apprentice of the chief priest. Immediately she turned and ran. "How can this be?" she said. When she got back to the palace, she told the princess all that she had seen. But when the maid described the second man, Adora remembered the man to be Nonso, Osondu's stepbrother. That cannot be. Something was wrong here. So the princess sent her rear guards to monitor Nonso and Nonso's mother, Ego. In a few days, the royal guards realized that Ego was having a sexual relationship with the chief priest. So immediately, they went and reported to the princess, and the princess ordered that the chief priest and Ego be brought before her father, the king. Because Ego's husband, Mazi Okoro, was a cabinet member. Because of his son's victories, he had been made a cabinet member of the royal parliament. So this was a serious abomination that Ego had committed. So before the king and the royal cabinet members and her husband, Mazi Okoro, Ego and the chief priest were brought before them. Now, the chief priest began to confess that it was Ego who asked him to kill Osondu's wives. You see, Ego had wanted to marry Osondu all along. She was Chekube's friend. But Osondu married Chekube. He never looked at Ego. He couldn't even recognize her when his father married her. This made Ego very, very sad. So with the help of the chief priest, she poisoned Chekube. Now, when she thought that Osondu would now marry her, Osondu refused to marry anyone. So Ego immediately married Mazi Okoro, because at that time, Mazi Okoro had indicated interest that he wanted to marry. So as not to miss entering the family, she married Mazi Okoro. Now everyone in the palace was shocked and surprised. So because you wanted to marry Osondu, you killed his wives? But then the chief priest's apprentice spoke up. He said that Ego did not do this for herself, but she did it for her son, Nonso. Everyone was surprised. "What do you mean by that?" they shouted. And then the apprentice revealed that it was Nonso that wanted Osondu. Everyone screamed. It was an abomination for a man to like another man in that way. So his mother came up with a plan to marry Osondu. And then she would allow her son to sleep with Osondu whenever he wanted. They planned to drug Osondu and poison him. But nothing was working. They had given him many poisons to take so that he would become more attracted to Nonso, but it was not working. So they decided to kill each woman he married. Nonso was the one that wanted Osondu all along. This was a great abomination in the land. Immediately the king sent his guards to get Nonso. But by the time they got to Mazokoro's house, Nonso had killed himself because he heard that his mother and the chief priest had been taken. Consequently, Ego, the chief priest, and the apprentice were banished out of the kingdom. Now that the truth was revealed, the king allowed Osondu to marry his daughter Adora, and they lived a very long and fruitful life.
Amalunko ne melo, amalo ne dimba no ne dinjo.